if we aren't realistic with the application of our goals and our desires, then they tend to stay in our mind instead of being manifested in reality. And what I mean by that is a goal is just a thought if there is no action. If you don't take action, goals are just thought. And that's basically to say, don't just allow your dreams or your desires to just be desires in your head. A lot of what we are and a lot of what we do and a lot of successful people just embody success within themselves and their action. To guarantee your success, you have to try. The only way to get successful is to try to be, and I'm realizing a lot of success is very much an internal thing, but it's also an action thing. It's about complementing what you do with who you are, making sure you resonate with both and you feel good about both. Because at the end of the day, if you do something good and you don't feel good about yourself, you won't feel good in, totality. You won't feel good long. There's no longevity to it. And if you feel good and don't feel good about what you're doing, you'll just realize you don't feel good about what you're doing. I'm realizing it's really just about making your goals or dreams real. Opening up enough space in your head and getting out of your way enough to realize that whatever you want is possible. To know it's humanly possible means you too can do it. And who says he can and who says he can't are both correct. It's about placing reality within whatever you want. Understanding that if you are to get something and if you are to truly, put yourself out there and express it and give yourself the love and validation you need to do it, all you need to do is act. Do your best and be you. And part of doing your best, I feel like, is taking action. Even when it's difficult, even when, it takes discipline, because that's truly where you grow and that's truly where you're successful. It's about your changes in perspective that allow you to bring in new things into your life, to seize opportunities. And you can't seize the opportunity if you don't take action. And I feel like a lot of us, when it comes to our mental health, we try to battle it internally so much that, it just battles itself endlessly. Your mind's going to always find a problem, and it's always going to find a solution, and it's always going to find another problem. It's about living in the now, living in the moment. If you're referencing your future, you think about how much is left for you to do. Oh my God, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. You're living in your past. You're like, oh, this is all behind me. I might still be living a little bit, but this is all behind me. But you don't know what's in front of you because you're focused on what's behind you. It's about looking forward. There is no past self to overcome. There's no future self to achieve. Everything you are and everything you want to gain is right here now. And it's just about instantiating that with your action. Being honest with yourself in terms of your discipline and your action towards these goals. Because what I'm realizing is it's really just about you putting yourself out there. You giving yourself the opportunity, you taking the shot, you embracing the chance. That's all it is, and making it real. Having a positive outlook about it, having a good mentality about yourself, because, there's no point in not. As long as you don't make whatever outcome that comes from it personal, you can desire anything. It's about desiring without expectation. And that's not to say you don't really want it, but to say it's not what makes you. I could want $1 million, but if I don't get $1 million, I'm still going to love myself the same. Because what I'm realizing is it's never been about what you get. It's about how it makes you feel. And if you can make yourself feel happy and if you can feel grateful for what you have, then it doesn't matter what else you get on top of it. You can recognize it as a gift, as a blessing. You can just be happy for it. But when you realize that it's not inherent to your character, then you can also let it go. You can realize what's really for you and what's really not. Because sometimes the things we get make us feel good, but they only make us feel good for a little bit. Because what we have to realize is we have to feel good about ourselves in general. It's not material that makes the man. It's a man that makes the man. It's a person that makes the man. Like you're the sculpture and the sculptor all at once. Patient and physician all at once. You think yourself the illness. Really, you are the cure. It's all of these quotes really mean the same thing. And they really just tend towards the idea of self-love and application. Application of self. What I'm realizing is you learn the most about yourself in your action. You learn the most about yourself and what you desire to do and how you desire to do it. And when you put yourself out there, when you allow yourself to truly experience things, then all you get is the lessons. Because it's no longer about the future or past, and it's not about living in reference to those things. Because you're no longer living in your mind, but living in the world. Living in the reality where you can actually do something with what you have. And all that takes is actually doing something with what you have. And before you do something with what you have to recognize what it is you do have. And I think a lot of us have to realize that we have ourselves. And that's really all you need. You want to learn how to do something, look up how to learn how to do it. If you're able to watch this video, you're able to learn pretty much anything. I feel like the internet, whatever, is a great resource. Life is a great resource just to go out there and experience. You know, it's just about really putting yourself out there. And it's not, I know some people don't like, that social aspect of it, but I'm not even thinking of a real social version of it. Like, if you want to make music and you want to do that, you got to put music out. How can you be successful if you're not giving yourself an opportunity to be successful? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And people say that all the time, and I feel like it's got downplayed, but that's a very powerful quote. If you put nothing in, you get nothing out. And it's about putting stuff in and getting whatever you receive and being grateful for it. Not having expectation, because I feel like a lot of times that's what deters us from taking action. Because we feel like if we put ourselves into this thing and we barely get anything, then I got what I was worth. But you don't get what you were worth. You got what the situation was worth. And sometimes a different situation will give you more. It's just about being appreciative for whatever you get and not referencing it to everything else. Living in the feeling that inspired your action. Because you want to do this. You want to achieve this. So you go do it. If the world knocks you down once, you get back up and you try again. Or you figure out something else to do. It's just about your continued progression and continual movement that allows people to be successful. It's about realizing that it's not about what you think. It's about what you do with what you think. You could think you're a great person. You think you can achieve anything. But if you don't try to achieve it, then it's just thought. And if all you could do is think about it, it's probably not worth thought. And that's what I had to realize with my aspirations. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to keep it in my head if I want it in reality. You have to make it happen. And a lot of times I feel like we wait for it to manifest. We wait for things to happen. But there's things we can do. And it's not about focusing on the future in terms of I have all these things to do. It's about pushing it forward and watching yourself do them. Instead of thinking about the action and doing the action. I feel like that's what helps me a lot with everything I do. Because, I don't even reference how I necessarily feel about something. I try to think of everything as a great opportunity. I get to do this today. I get to do that today. And I think I got that from, I don't even know where I got that from. But it's one of those things. You have to express gratitude for pretty much everything you do. Otherwise, you won't feel grateful for it. And if you can express some sort of gratitude for that, you can express gratitude for yourself. And once you do that, then any situation you come in, any situation that comes in front of you, you're going to be grateful for it. Because we have to realize that gratitude is not inherent to the thing we're grateful for. It's inherent to our perception of it. Inherent to how we feel about it and how we allow ourselves to be. And if you're allowing yourself to be grateful for all that you have and allowing yourself to be grateful enough for yourself, grateful enough for your desires and love yourself enough to actually go out there and do it. It takes a lot sometimes to be disciplined in regards to that. And that's very true. But, if you want something, you kind of have to make the efforts to get it. Not everything can fall in your lap. A lot of people are fortunate. I'm very fortunate. I feel like some stuff has fallen on my lap, but I feel like I've also been pretty grateful for the action I've taken to get to that point. There's always more action you can take. Of course, don't burn yourself out. Understand a happy medium, a happy place, but continue to move forward. Continue to be here now. And I feel like that's a sort of a cheat code to presence. Is action. Is doing something in the moment. Because if you're in the moment actually applying yourself, then you can't be in thought too much. And it's important when you're doing action to try not to be in your thought, but to be in your action. Feel gratitude while you're doing the action, gratitude while you're doing anything, and then show appreciation for yourself for doing it. And that's not to say don't reference the things you need to make up on or anything like that, but embracing positivity doesn't mean not acknowledging negative. It means living in your positivity, living in the world you want to create, living in a reality you want to create, and that is applying yourself, that is taking action, that is giving yourself the liberty, the freedom, and the reality enough to make your dreams or aspirations come true. You know, your dreams and ideas are only as real as you make them. Every great invention, every great thought, every great thing that we have to this modern day all started off as somebody's idea. It all started off in somebody's head, and they just said, oh, let me put this into the world. Let me actually make this real for myself so I can enjoy the spoils of my own mental. And I feel like a lot of us enjoy the spoils of our own mental when it comes to our self-help or our, you know, mental health and understanding. But it's one thing to learn these things, and it's one thing to apply them. I feel like once I got to the actual application of what I have been saying for the last 2 years, 3 years, that's when my life truly started to turn around. It wasn't until I believed it and made it real enough in my head to actually instantiate it into reality that it actually changed things. You know, and I guess that's kind of what the video, This Is Your Sign to Go All In, was about. But in a different way, it's about calling it to action. It's about actually doing, you know. And you don't have to do everything to make yourself feel good. I'm not saying that. This is a video simply about goals, desires, and dreams. It's not about feeling good about yourself or what you do in general. You know, you're supposed to feel good about yourself regardless. Not just for what you do, but regardless. And I'm saying your goals and your dreams, you know, that kind of stuff gets achieved when you line up your good feeling for yourself and good feeling for your desire. Because if you feel good about it and good about yourself, no matter what you do with it, it's not going to feel like grueling work. It's going to feel like self-discovery. Figuring out more of yourself through this thing because you resonate with this thing. And if you love this thing, then you realize part of it is already a part of you. Because you love yourself. So the more you find out about that, the more you learn about that, the more you learn to love about yourself and the thing that you're working with. And eventually it becomes so meshed into what you are that you have no choice but to bring it into reality, because it is what you are in a sense, not necessarily as a to say it's all of you, but to say it's a part of your expression. It's a part of your understanding. It's a part of what you've given your attention and energy to. And that's not to say take it personal, like not to say if something goes wrong with whatever you try to go for that you take it personal. But to say that, you know, when things go right, cheer for yourself. When things go wrong, keep on trying. Cheer for yourself for trying. Because it's about the effort you put in your relationship to whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Not necessarily just the something you're trying to achieve. You know, you could want to get this award. You could want to get this. But at the end of the day, it's about how you are. How you are. The award doesn't make you. You make the award. You know, you're the thing that's getting the accolade. It's added on to you. You're not adding on to it. And I think once we realize this, it makes it easier to try to put yourself out there, because once you realize things aren't inherent to you, and you don't have to take that personally, and you don't have to put yourself into every single expression and I guess effort to achieve something, then you realize that their biggest achievement is really just being yourself. And being honest and true to yourself and your desire. Because that's what's going to get you to your whatever you want to achieve in this world. You know, dreams and goals are going to be goals and dreams as long as you keep them in thought. The second you place them into reality, it's action. They're no longer dreams. They're part of a reality. They're part of what you're trying to build, part of what you're building. And it's about living in the feeling that inspired you to take action and being grateful for somewhat what you have yet to have. In a sense, bringing it to your current. I'm grateful for, you know, let's just say, for example, I'd be grateful for like 1 million subscribers. I'm grateful for whatever subscribers I have now. But I'm I'm gonna walk around with the gratitude as if I have a million. Because why not? I'm gonna instantiate it and bring it into that world. Because if I'm grateful for having a million, I'm gonna make million subscriber type moves. Like I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to not necessarily get to that point, but if I was at that point, I would act like it, right? If I wanted to, own a very successful business, then I would already try to act like a successful business owner. How would I conduct myself? What would I do? How much effort, how much devotion and discipline would I put into this thing to maintain the state I'm at, to be at the state I'm at? And you do it. You live in the now through that. And it's not living in the future, because you're not like, oh, this is distant from myself, I'm trying to get here. You're telling yourself you're already here. And I feel like that's part of the importance when it comes to manifesting and bringing things into your life, because you have to bring it in. You don't wait for it to come, you bring it into your life. And I feel like that's the subtle importance with all of these things. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. Really appreciate y'all. I really hope you are using this grand opportunity that is our experience to do whatever you can. Life waits for no one, and you definitely shouldn't wait for yourself. So all in all, keep being y'all, keep being great. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're telling yourself you love you, if you can. Not even if you can, just do it, period. And thank you. Oh, and